Hello guys, breaking down the NBA Sunday slate. Spurs at Hornets. Spurs side, Aldridge still going to be out, so Pirtle's going to pick up the start, but he's 6,400 now, so even though the matchup is nothing to be scared about, I think he's a little bit too expensive here. DeRozan, Murray, they still got upside, but other than that, they are pretty healthy, and this is a game where I do expect it to be close, but the price is definitely on a 9-game slate. I don't feel like they have to be must-plays. Keldon Johnson, Derek White, just guys whose minutes aren't really that great, but they definitely do have 30, 40 plus point upside. So for tournaments, I do think there's both of them are good low owned options we can look at. For the Hornets side, we still have LaMelo Ball, probably going to be starting with Rozier and Graham because PJ Washington currently questionable. But I really like Gordon Hayward actually because he hasn't been shooting well, but he's still able to put up 30 DraftKings points. If he puts it all together, he has to play big minutes. They just are short on bodies right now without the Martin twins, PJ. So Hayward should be looking at very good minutes. And this is a spot where we can see Hayward finally have one of his better shooting nights and just have a 40 plus DK point game. As with everyone else, I just think Ball, he's kind of expensive now, having to share the Rozier and Graham ball handling duties. Rozier, he's been shooting really well, but he's just never been that great of a shooter, so I don't expect it to continue. And Graham with Ball and Rozier, and Graham kind of becomes like really the fourth guy because there's still Hayward, Zeller 6,300. His minutes are a little bit more secure, but Biyombo is definitely playing somewhat of a bigger role. So I don't think there's really much else here actually because of the pricing. Minnesota, Towns still kind of limited around 31 minutes. At 9,400, I don't think I want to go there right now at a 9-game slate where I think center is pretty important to just go with the better options. Everyone else with D'Lo still out. Malik Beasley's been playing really good, but 7,300, Toronto should be getting OG Anunoby back. It's tough. I don't think I want to pay that. Same with Edwards and Rubio. Just the usage isn't going to be there when Towns is healthy. Now the Toronto side again. Nick Nurse said that he expects OG to play this game. Don't know if he's going to start, but either way, that's going to hurt Norman Powell's minutes a lot. And it can actually hurt Boucher, Baines as well because OG can play the 4 and then just move Siakam to the 5. Now, in this matchup against Towns, I expect Baines to be getting more minutes. But again, that's just one way that Boucher, Baines, they both can lose minutes now if OG does indeed come back. So Lowry gonna be the best guy, 7,300, just the cheapest guy, and I don't think that price difference should be that drastic with Van Vliet and Lowry, so that's why I'm gonna prefer him. And then Siakam 2, Van Vliet 3. New Orleans, their rotation's kind of weird right now. Sometimes we're seeing Bledsoe close, sometimes we don't. But really, the locked-in guys are pretty much Ingram and Zion, always in Alonzo. Bledsoe, Adams, just their minutes aren't as safe as these other 3 starters. Josh Hart and Alexander Walker, both questionable. We don't know what's going to happen. If they're out, then I would say it's going to help Adams and Bledsoe a lot, just because they're just going to make the minutes safer. Lewis, he could play, but because the main guys are still going to be healthy, you're going to need blowout run for Lewis to probably be a good value play. Now, the Detroit side, we're going to have Isaiah Stewart again if Plumlee is going to be out. But we saw last time, Stewart, he's not a lock to play 30 plus minutes when he's starting. Saddiq Bey, he played really well. I don't want to chase that. Josh Jackson getting a lot of minutes, but 6K, tough to pay. So I think we still have to focus with Grant, DeLon Wright, and Isaiah Stewart if he continues to start. He looks as a pretty good value play still at 3,600. And then the Portland side, they're still going to have a lot of injuries. Rodney Hood could also be missing now. So this game, it definitely feels like it's going to be very high scoring against Dallas. Dame Lillard is going to have a big game. Canner's okay, but definitely there's probably a little bit of rebounding concerns because Porzingis is going to be stretching him out to guard the 3. Trent's okay at 5,800. Rocco 5,3. That's fine, but I think I'd rather get to Trent. And then Simons, Derek Dunn Jr., both of them are going to be value plays. I prefer Simons because he just takes more shots, more of an offensive threat, and he's not going to be on a minutes limit anymore. And also potential to close even though he doesn't start. Dallas side, Luka 11-1, that's totally fine. Portland, not a good defensive team. They have Rocco, Derek Jones, they can defend, but Luka's just amazing. There's nothing else that needs to be said, so he's still gonna be a good play. Porzingis 8-5, he's fine, but again, just when Luka's healthy, I don't want to pay 8K plus for Porzingis, and then everyone else, they can go a variety of ways. Like no one pretty much here is safe with their minutes. Like you would expect the stars to get it, maybe Hardaway, but it's just basically the hot hand. Now the Milwaukee side against OKC. OKC's been staying in these games a lot, so I don't think it's crazy to expect this to happen again. Bucks definitely a lot better, but Drew Holiday being out has definitely hurt them a lot. And Giannis, Middleton, they're going to continue carrying the load here. Middleton's assist upside has just gone up a lot with Drew out. Giannis, they're playing big minutes. They need to win some games here. They've been struggling a little bit. Brook Lopez 4-8. I don't want to chase the last game. Yeah, he was just getting looks because of how Gobert defends, and everyone else, the value, like nothing you feel great about. Think we can find better value plays today. Now the OKC side, they're still gonna have a lot of injuries. Without SGA, we're gonna get big usage from Diallo, Horford, Baisley. I think I prefer Baisley because he's been playing really poorly, just shooting awful. But we know he has upside, 6,100. He's actually not that expensive. His price hasn't moved up that much. And then Muscala, Isaiah Roby. I think Roby looks kind of interesting because he's got powerful eligibility and he's still really cheap, one of the cheaper productive guys on the OKC. And I would expect him to maybe get the long run if that's what we're predicting here. And second game back from injury, his minutes should be a lot higher. Now the Orlando side, still they just have a bunch of injuries. Gotta start with Vooch because his usage is just insane. He's been so productive. He really should be 10K plus right now. Terrence Ross is 6'1". He's been a shot dependent guy, but because they're missing so many players, he's playing a lot more minutes, more peripherals that way. So I think at 6,100, he's still fine if all these guys miss. Now, Ennis, Bacon, they're okay. Prices are a little bit higher. But I think if they're still missing guys, you still got to look to them. Michael Carter Williams, though, should be playing here. 4,700, he was supposed to be on a significant minutes limit, but he still played 27. So I would expect him to play maybe 30 now if they're still missing bodies. And at 4,700, he's pretty productive, actually. He looks pretty solid. And then everyone else, like these power forwards, they all pretty much steal minutes from each other. So even though they're cheap, I don't think we really need to go to them. Now on the Phoenix side, nothing too much here. They are on a back-to-back, so maybe Chris Paul rests. If that's the case, then Booker gonna be a very good play. But as of right now, I don't really want anyone. Like Aiden has a tough match against Vooch, Paul, Booker playing together. They just cast their upside, so not really on the Suns. And then the Lakers, Denver side, questionable guys again. But because both of them have been, LeBron's been playing, but AD he played last game. Expecting them to be in, even if one of them is out, like Kuzma, Harrell, they're all priced up. So the Lakers side, there's really nothing too exciting here. I guess you can go to LeBron because against Denver should be a close game. Probably can expect bigger minutes for these Lakers starters. Now the Denver side, Jamal Murray's questionable, so if he is out, then we're gonna look to Jokic obviously, but also MPJ because Barn is out. He's already been rolled out. They're still without Harris, Dozier. So if Murray were to be out again, or also Porter looks pretty solid as the second option here. Millsap's minutes probably going to be a little bit more secure because of all the bodies they're missing. Monte Morris, Michael Green, they're fine as well. Morris especially because if Murray is out, Morris is probably going to have to play 30 plus minutes with all these injuries. So he looks like a really solid play at 4,200. Now the Cavs side, Andre Drummond has been just losing minutes, and they went back to Taurean Prince at the 4. So that's kind of concerning because Jared Allen's going to be able to steal Drummond's minutes. So Drummond, he's cheap, but yeah, it's kind of tough to play him right now. It looks like definitely he's on his way out. Now, Sexton, Garland, they're fine, but Patrick Beverley being back definitely does hurt just them offensively. Now, the Clippers side, still without Paul George. Kawhi's going to look really good at 9,700. He looks to be healthy. The Cavs, they're not a good team. Definitely some blowout risk here, but Kawhi's definitely going to have a lot to do with that because they are still without George. Lou Will, 6'3", he's got upside, but his price is definitely coming up now, so don't really want to be interested in him. And Beverly's still on minutes limit, so not really much else here. Now, this last game probably is the best one of the slate. We got the Memphis side. John Morant, Jonas Valanciunas, both of them are going to look excellent. They lost 2 minutes apiece because of the Laker game. They kind of got out of hand late. So expect 37 minutes from Jaw. I think Joe Val played 30, 32, so he would have got 34. And so if you're getting pretty much regular starter minutes as opposed to like the 28 minutes that we saw with the Grizzlies starters before, they're going to look excellent and they're going to be underpriced. And then the match against the Kings, both these teams play fast. The Kings, if they are missing Fox and Bagley, that's definitely not going to help their defense. So they look excellent here. They're still without a lot of bodies like Melton, JJJ, Clark could miss. So yeah, just they look really great. Now everyone else, like I think Brooks, he's fine as well, 5,400. He needs to make his shots, but that could definitely happen, and he could definitely get more attempts because of this matchup. So I just really like John Joval here. And then for the Kings side, Fox, Bagley, if they're both going to be out, then we're going to have to look at Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, all three going to be in play. Holmes as well, 5.57 kind of feels cheap for him. But it's definitely a worry that Luke Walton can pull some weird lineup like they'll give Corey Joseph, Bielitsa, Glenn Robinson, Daquan Jeffries, Kyle Guy. All of these guys can just randomly soak up minutes. So it's definitely not the best feeling if we're trying to wait for Fox and Bagley to be ruled out. If you're trying to just wait, because even if they're out, we saw what happened last game. Like if someone doesn't play that well, Luke Walton's going to yank him, and at these prices, it's kind of it's not going to be optimal. So not going to include any Kings for the optimal, but we're going to have to start with the Memphis Grizzlies because John Joval's their minutes look pretty nice right now, and then we're paying up kind of for those two guys. So gonna go with a value play, and that's gonna start with, if I can find him, Isaiah Stewart. Now, obviously, if Plumlee is in, then don't play this. We'll pivot, and then another play is gonna be Gordon Hayward. I just feel like he has a big time ceiling. He's gonna play big minutes because you're short on bodies, and then I'm gonna go with Orlando guy, Michael Carter Williams, but know that this can also be subject to change depending on who they have available and if they're going to tell us what the actual minutes limit is for MCW. So that's the core five right now. It's a Sunday, so it's going to be a word slate for sure. So good luck on the slate and leave a like before you go. Subscribe to the channel. I'll have my Twitter app off in the description below. You can ask me anything. So once again, good luck, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.